Normally,
Oh yeah.
I would address a camera in this corner of the room. However, the batteries are dead, and we are literally just screen capturing this through the beautiful power of OBS Studios.
Amazing.
Yes, and Brian, who the hell do we have on this beautiful episode of New Guess Who Dis?
Well, Mike, we have Elijah from Dismalimerence. We had to do that.
Yeah, blowing out the levels.
Yeah, I'm so glad to be back on. You guys are the best, and you're so fucking funny.
Oh, thank you.
Thank
we
you.
do try.
We try our best.
There are episodes that are definitely swing and the miss. Hopefully, that's not the one that we're currently talking about today, right now.
Yeah, definitely. But anyways, man, how you been, dude? How's it been going?
Dude, I've been doing pretty good. Really been good with the music stuff going on lately. Everything's been awesome, and all my friends are having a great time. I see everybody's playing a lot of shows, so it's been just great to follow along too.
It was pretty funny earlier today when you're like, do I need to prepare anything for the show? And I'm like, no, just be ready to talk about your band. And you're like, awesome. That's what I've been preparing to do my whole life.
I feel like sometimes you talk about it enough, whether it's, to your own friends or to new people that you don't know. Like, I know you guys, so I can have fun and fuck around, and it's fun. But like, if you're trying to just like convey something or like talk about an album during the release process, it can get really just like,
monotonous.
what am I actually talking about? Like, wait a minute. But no, it's been fun.
We were talking a little bit about it on the episode today. Well, this is weird because it's actually going to be before we talk about it on the episode today. But we've actually worked together, obviously, in the context of the Riff Challenge. We had you on a Christmas episode, which personally, the Christmas episodes are some of my favorite because we're like, all right, let's, 5 or 6 minutes, we're going to talk about the band. But really, we're here to ask you, who would you kill, marry, or fuck? Santa Claus, Rudolph, whatever, the Grinch. And really, that's really what we're trying to get down to the root.
And I'm always just finding a way to up the ante, make it more like...
Yeah.
Dude, the Naughty or Nice list was perfect last year. So
yeah, we're definitely gonna keep that one. We have another one that we're thinking about, a brand new game, because the Christmas tier list just doesn't hit as well as the other two.
Yeah, we tried it for the past 2 years, and I'm like, I think we should change it a bit.
So we got one new game. The other two, I think we're keeping. The Kill, Marry, Fuck is just too beautiful. It just works too well with Christmas stuff.
Definitely.
Yeah. It's generationally perfect, whether you're on the school bus or fucking now.
So we're pretty happy about that. Brian gets to write another Christmas song riff challenge, which is pretty great. He's really good at doing that.
It's going to be tough this time because I'm like, well, the last time I was just goofing around with it, or the first one I actually went in. This one I was like, all right, I need to lay back a little, but now I'm like, what do I do now?
Right.
You'll figure it out. I'm sure you'll be like, I don't know, rocking around the Christmas tree or something.
I don't know. I gotta just
gent around the Christmas tree, bro. Just start playing gent around the Christmas tree, and
there you go. Gent around the Christmas tree, Brian. He just gave you your idea. I'm
gonna write that down right now. But anyways,
yeah, we've gotten a little off topic. The point is, we've had you, we've gotten definitely more familiar with you, and now for the first time we get to have you on a full New Guess Who Dis. So let's just, for all the people who've never heard of you, let's just go from the top.
Which would be ridiculous because we had him with Appsizer as well too. So that's
yeah. Hey, that's right.
I was like, how could you not know this, man? This guy's always, going on the grind all the time.
Should I slow down?
Oh no, keep it going, dude. Like I've been noticing. I was like, dude, like I've been telling Mike, I'm like, he's been fucking putting in the work. I was like, holy shit, I was like, god damn.
Yeah, man, you are definitely putting in the hours there. I've seen just I guess off the top we should say Dismalimerence has a brand new album, Tome
Oh yeah.
2. It's on all the streaming platforms right now. You have been getting like a blitz of like different media and different articles being written about you, and I have seen, you talked about your friends, sharing the album and stuff. I have seen a lot of people just giving you a shout out on all the social media. And how's that feel with just like you had your album release, and it just everybody seems to be receiving it very well.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. First off, it's awesome because people who make records, there's so much time and energy you have to put into it before it's out, and that can be however many years down the line. So to finally be at that point where I can say like, hey, everything I've been working so hard on, here you go, and enjoy it with me because now I finally finished it. But I think my favorite thing about that is just seeing all my friends. I've always had great support with all of my bands that I've been in. It's never been shy of that. So it's all a testament to them, man. All of my friends and family and everyone who just loves what I'm doing. It's pretty much just going to keep being reciprocated, and it's awesome because it kind of builds a community together where I know people from my friends that are in these bands, or even people who just support the same bands I like. It just
Mhm.
starts becoming a bigger circle, and everybody's supporting each other. So it's been awesome. I think that what's been really cool is there's been a bigger outreach now that the album's been out for like a couple weeks. A bigger outreach to people I don't know, and that going around, and that's always fun to like see and interact with people who don't know who you are and don't understand maybe what you're trying to do, but they appreciate what they're listening to. So then you can kind of, you know, keep bringing people together. That's kind of the most important thing. I don't really care about making millions of dollars and keep going everywhere. It'd be cool to tour and get my stuff out there more, but with the time being, I just like to connect with everybody and share art.
Oh, it's pretty
Yeah.
dope, man. Hell yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
speaking of reaching people you've never heard of before, I remember, I remember, like, just I've been friends with Alex for many years. I went to my last year of high school at Oaklawn Community High School. I met Alex, and I just saw this angry looking dude in the corner of the room, and I forgot I was listening to something, and he judged me for what I was listening to, and he's like, "You should be listening to," I believe it was Devin Townsend, Dream Theater, and he recommended a band that really stuck with me, Children of Bodom. He's like,
Oh,
you should be listening to this," and I went home and I'm like, "All right, let's see what that angry dude was talking about." So
I'm pretty sure he didn't say that. He's like, all right, let's see what this asshole might have been saying.
no. And me and Alex were actually friends, that whole time that I was there, my last year. But I remember playing Children of Bodom, and the first, I don't know, I looked at their catalog, and the one that caught my eye was Follow the Reaper. And I
oh yeah,
played that album, and it's just like, I think with me specifically, with metal, you start off gradually, and then you have your graduation album, so to speak, the one that unlocks everything.
yeah.
And that was that album for me. I was like, oh my God, this stuff heavier than, insert System of a Down or
Right.
whatever.
Yeah, there's a couple of those I can think of. Like when I first started listening to Death, like hearing
Oh,
Human,
yeah.
I was
Oh,
like,
yeah.
oh,
I
I was,
love Human.
it's
I,
still my favorite. I mean, I love like Individual Thought Patterns and
yeah.
other albums, but Human is the one that's always just struck me
The,
like a brick, man. And that's a formulative one. I think that even Cynic, like when I was listening to
oh,
like Focus and
yeah.
Trace to Air, I was like, oh shit, metal can go that direction. And
Yeah,
you know,
dude.
you
I was a really late bloomer, so I started listening to metal like in I guess in high school, and he introduced me to that, and then I don't know, I knew just he was with his first band, Fathoms, I
oh hell
believe,
yeah,
and they were awesome, and I remember they opened up. This was this led to so many things. It was like my first real like girlfriend and stuff. But like I remember going to see Fathoms open up for Jeff Loomis and Animals as leaders, and that was the first time me
Wow.
going to a show like that and being like, oh my god, Animals as leaders, just being
Yeah.
just blown away. And then he was with, I believe, 10 Year. No, I forgot what band it was after that. But then, he just, I don't know if he just stopped playing live for a while. But then all of a
Yeah.
sudden, he's with you guys. And I'm like, oh, let's see what this is about. And I'm like, oh, this is 100% what Alex is about. Your
Yeah.
style, 100%. I was like, okay, yeah, this makes sense. And it was really good,
Man, getting Alex into the band has been great for the first like few years being in the band. We kind of bounced around with different guitar players. My friend Nick, we had Matt in the band, and then after Matt, it was really really easy for me and Alex because Alex and I have also known each other for a very long time. Where I was going to his shows, he was going to my shows, and we would see each other at shows. So we always just
Oh,
were
wow.
connected. So he had a band, was still plays in the band Tangier. They were
Tangier,
playing,
that's what it was. Yeah.
yeah, they were. He was playing with them, still playing with them for a long time. They just haven't played shows in a while, but
Mm-hmm.
yeah, that was great because seeing them all play with great bands, and yeah, I just knew at some point after Matt left, I was like, you know what, there's always somebody I'm not thinking of, some friend of mine that's fucking kick ass because all my friends are kick ass,
Mm-hmm.
and I hit him up and I was like, hey, would you want to fill in for the show? This is kind of like a thing that propped up. And he was like, oh, for sure. And I was like, okay, here's Guitar Pros. And
Bless you, sir. God
yeah,
bless you.
within within a week, man,
Yeah.
he learned. We played like for maybe 30-35 minutes, so we kept it like slim. And
Yeah.
he played new songs that are on Tome 2 at that time, so he was already familiar with what we were doing. And then after that show, everybody in the band was like, "So is Alex in the band?" Like, and I
Yeah,
was
yeah,
like,
yeah.
"Oh yeah, let's get this moving." And literally, uh, within a couple months' time, he already was writing for Tome 2, and then that he told me before he's never played in a black metal band before or listened to the genre of music that I guess we are,
Mm-hmm.
and this was kind of like this whole blooming experience with that too because I know Alex is a badass musician and guitarist. He hasn't just been in a metal band in a long time. So
Right.
seeing his influences come out, there's a lot of different stuff that he brings to the table that I simply can't because I suck. So it's fucking awesome.
Yeah, it was interesting seeing that, and then if I'm not, hopefully I'm not incorrect about this, but Alex is not the newest member. You guys added a keyboard player, correct?
Yeah, Graham joined the band pretty early at the beginning of this year. So he came out to a show in November or October that we played prior, and he
Mm-hmm.
was just like, dude, you guys are badass. It reminds me of all these bands. And I'm like, oh, I love all those bands.
Mm-hmm.
So then he told me he can play keys. So he came to us, because he understood what we were doing. And on Tome 1 and the other stuff, there's always some kind of strings, other aspects of the music that I've done myself. So I mentioned to him, like, it would be really cool to also not just like in the sense of get that off my plate, but maybe he's can bring in his own stuff and bring in his, ideas of music. And it just so happens that he's, a million times better than I'll ever be at piano. So uh, it just kind of all came together. But at that time frame, we were already beginning to mix Home 2. So we were like, we need you in the band and we need you to play with us. So real quick, we were able to get him on Relics of Woe. And that's a song that I think everybody's gravitated to pretty quick with it being a single, but also having that extra space in the sound where there is more of a dominant, key and orchestration part of it. So
Right.
it's been
Okay.
awesome.
So is he on the? So you mentioned that song specifically. Is he on the rest of the album too, or is it just a couple?
just on Relics of Woe.
Yeah, I
And
was about to say that's the only one where I hear him. And honestly, when that song dropped, I was like, "Oh shit!" So I
yeah,
immediately like just started streaming it, and I'm like, "Holy fucking!" I just kept listening to it on repeat. And I'm like, "This is fucking amazing." I was like, "Holy shit!"
dude, thank you, man. The thing that like worked with Graham so quick is that once he came to that show, we were immediately texting each other. He was immediately like, "Okay, what do you think of this stuff? What do you think of this stuff?" And I'd be like, "Oh, that band sucks," or "Oh, this band's awesome." But he had the same exact ideas that I had. Like we were stacking just the idea of combining sounds, where he's got an extreme and extensive knowledge on music as well, and it's very like, "Oh, okay, now I sound like an idiot. This is great." So he can really bring in something new that I'm not thinking about. And he's proven that for anybody that was at our last two shows. He did play live throughout the entire set list. So he was able to come in and compose his pieces on top of our old music and the new music already. So there's a
Wow.
little bit of a part of me that wanted to have him on the full record, but we're actually very deep into album 3 already. That's getting
Oh shit!
shaped up
God
to
damn.
record pretty soon. So we're just hoping that now this is like the full party where we're all together making the sound. So
So, I guess that's one of my questions was, so you are 100% going to do a third album versus like, like some bands they'll record that much, but like release it in like EPs or
mhm.
like, I know some bands, a lot of them will record that much and then just
They'll
release
just
them
do
as
yeah.
singles.
I was like, do
You
singles
know,
instead.
it's kind of weird.
I think
Just
that there's benefits to that. Like
okay.
I've heard people say it's like more digestible and things can be more specific, and it's not daunting to look at an hour long album and be like, oh, when am I going to have time to do this? But um, I've never really been like that. I just kind of
Mhm.
feel like what I do is like make. Of course, it's not just making songs that all fit on an album. It's about writing an album that kind of has some kind of thematic or like story style kind of thing going on.
Mhm.
And because of that, I'm extremely backlogged. I go through spurts where I write nonstop and I can like get things going, like 4 or 5 songs immediately within a couple weeks, and then I come back and I revisit things. So there's a process to what it is that we're writing and what I just write by myself, but we're definitely doing more albums. I like doing splits and stuff. It's fun to do with friends, and you're still making music. It's not like that can never be a bad thing, but
I was gonna
it's
say, like, coming off obviously Tome One, but like that split that you guys did with what is it,
Yeah,
Sadness,
it was
right?
sadness.
mhm.
Is like awesome. Like,
Dude, thank you.
I remember listening to it and hearing the transition between the two of you and being like, okay, this is definitely different.
Yeah,
Sadness is definitely different. However, it just complements, you guys complement each other so well that I was like, okay, well, yeah, I dig this a lot because a lot of times when like bands, especially in my world, especially in the thrash crossover, post punk world, like
hell yeah,
there is such a line between like, oh, this is the first band, that's the second.
yeah.
And you guys just blended together so well. It was almost seamless,
Yeah,
so to
Thank you,
speak.
man. That's interesting because Sadness has done. I mean, if you look at it, like all the albums that he's put out, it's a lot. It's over 20 or something.
Hmm.
So with the splits that he's always done, it's always been with bands who are even more complementary to the sound that he already has. So ours was a little bit more of a little bit out there, like a sore thumb compared to the other ones. But I think that people appreciated that because you got like a good blend of melodic and atmospheric stuff, but in two
Yeah.
different realms. So yeah, I'm really proud of that. And Damien and I, with that being our first time working together, was pretty cool. Um, we've known each other for fucking ever, like over 10 or 11 years. So we just kind of came down to the out of nowhere. We were like, yeah, we should just make a split. I don't know. And it worked
God,
out.
that's
So,
that's
uh,
awesome.
yeah, it's pretty sick.
So, I guess this a question about that and a question about Tome 2 as well. So, I know obviously you guys, you pre-record your stuff. Do you handle all of that, or did you guys go to someone and for Tome 2 and that EP specifically?
Yeah. So Resplendence, that split is
Yeah.
like just with Alex and I mixing it together, and once we got the mix to a point, we were like, cool. Now let's give it to our buddy Spencer Morris, and he mastered it.
God, that's
And
awesome, dude, because it
within,
sounds phenomenal.
Yeah, it definitely does.
thank you. That's another huge addition from Alex is that I've been mixing and mastering my own music for a while, but I don't have like somebody over my shoulder throwing out pointers or like going, hey, actually try this. So once Alex came in, we made that split. We were like, let's just do this together. We
Yeah.
both know already what it sounds like up here when we're listening to it unmixed. So uh, it was just seamless. And then for Tome 2, that one I wanted to give the album, because it is a little bit different from the vibe on the splits, is that I wanted it to more or less feel like a continuation from Tome 1. So after we tracked it, I did all the editing and programming and the keys and stuff, and then also with Graham's edition. Once all that was done, I sent it to Spencer for full mixing and mastering. So having his hand and guidance and like his vision on the sound also is part of why Tome 2 sounds like that.
Wow,
Mhm.
that's awesome. Whatever. I mean, Jesus, keep that going, because
Yeah, no, definitely.
it sounds so clean and so nice.
Has that
Dude,
very
thank you.
pristine, clean sound to it. Like I think I listened to it like probably 6 times. Like
Oh
around
shit.
there. Yeah, no. So most people, like going back to the whole singles thing. I mean, yeah, some people have a pretty low attention span to only listen to like one song, move on with
Yeah.
their day. I will literally listen to it like on repeat, just keep going back and forth.
Fuck yeah.
Well, I
Yeah.
think we
Well,
are
thank you.
at the end of that generation of people that actually do that. Like, I remember going to like a store and on the release date and being like, oh sweet, I'm gonna go buy
Yeah.
whatever, the latest whatever,
Yeah.
and just like every CD you had was sacred, and and then eventually iPods came out.
Yeah, I mean, I would
Yeah.
never skip anything because I
Yeah.
used to have an old car with just a CD player, so I had like a massive
So-
I think I had like 2 massive stacks of CDs,
Yeah.
and I would like bring a pile, and I'm like, all right, putting this album, listening back and forth. All right, now changing it, But
Yes.
that's what got
Did
me
I-
in the habit of listening to everything like from start to finish. No skipping. Well, obviously because you'll fuck up the CD, but now I'm like that. I've always had that, and I intend to keep it that way because it's really fun to listen to all of it. Unless there are some albums that do have songs that are like I can skip this, but
Some
that's
sleeper.
not the case with that was never the case with Tome 2. Definitely, I was like, holy shit.
Hell yeah. Dude, thank you. I spent a long time with, because that album's been through a group of different members in the band. Like my first drummer in the band has heard almost the full album because it has changed with people coming and going and what I've just decided to change in the process. But consistently, there's been a part of me that's listened to it a lot as I was making it to go, oh, you know what? This actually sucks. I don't like how this ends anymore. And then, just being able to like sit back and take my time on something and then it work out the way that it did, I can reflect on it and say, oh, of course, there's going to be 1 or 2 things that I want to change like anybody would. But I think that the process of how it starts and ends encompasses the full album together. So I'm pretty proud of that. And I'm definitely the same way with you, dude. Like I grew up in the car, popping Blackwater Park in or whatever Opeth CD,
Yes.
dude, and all day
Yeah.
long. That's it from start to finish. And I would know the name of the songs, but if I was
Yeah,
asking
same here.
conversation, I would say track 4, and
Yeah.
that's ridiculous. But
It's funny because I've had that well, this was like during Behead in the Icon practice. So my guitarist Ryan, he was putting just music and a Volvadinia track came up. and I was like, oh, that's that one. Now, like the moment I heard the drum beat, I'm like Vobadinia, and everyone's like, what the fuck? And then, like my bassist was like, "Oh, you fucking nerd." I'm like, "Oh, excuse me, Mr. Black Dahlia Murder fanboy."
Oh, right.
I mean, I'm so am I, but I was just joking. But yeah, everyone was just like, "You immediately knew what band it was." I'm like, "Yeah, I've listened to this album like millions of times,
religiously.
Yeah.
religiously. Like that's the type of person I am. Like I will listen to it religiously, even like if there's a point where I stop listening to it for a while. Like I was like, "Oh, I know who that is."
Yeah. Dude, my At the Gate CD, Slaughter of the Soul,
Yes.
it's brutalized, bro. It is so dead because I've just spun it so many times in different cars, and it's lived in and out of its case just constantly. And I still have all of my CDs from my old car, and being able to keep a collection at home, dude. It's just nostalgia, you know?
Unfortunately, I don't because they've went through their end cycle. They don't work anymore. None of them. Like that's how I've
Oh,
spun them millions of times, and like yeah, it was done. And plus, like my current car doesn't have a CD player, so I was like, I don't
mine
have
either.
anything for these, and I'm like, well, I have to part ways. The one collection I did kept. Well, I kept a few. I kept all of the because I have almost, or I think I have all of the Death albums on CD. And
Nice.
same thing
Badass.
with Control Denied, the Fragile Art of Existence. I
Okay.
preserve those pretty well. I'm like those I'm not parting ways with at all. That's gonna be staying in my drawer forever. But yeah, those ones
Yeah.
I spun them several times, but I'm like I don't want to destroy them just by doing that. So
Right.
but yeah, that's always gonna be there. I'm like I'm not parting ways with them at all. Or I think I might have all of them, or unless I'm missing one or two. But yeah, I've enjoyed listening to them like several times. Just driving to work or back home.
Yeah. God, Death is awesome. We could spend the rest of the time talking about Death if
Talking
you
about
want.
Death.
It's so true. It's so true.
I remember Vicious Attack covered what is the song on Leprosy? It goes digga 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 digga
Is it
digga
Pull the Plug?
Pull the plug.
No,
Mm.
we're not going. There's like a tapping part.
I know what you're talking about, but I can't remember the. Oh my god.
Dang. Yeah, I don't know. Whatever.
That might be my least favorite Death album. That's maybe why I don't remember.
Leprosy.
Really?
I like Leprosy.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I think so. Leprosy isn't like my all-time favorite. It's one of them, but yeah, I would
still like it.
second that. I still like it, but it's
Yeah.
not the one
Yeah.
I love the most. I think mine it would be Human. It's between Human and Spiritual Healing as well.
Okay,
Those two are just those two are just amazing. But
It is interesting. You really can tell the type of metalhead you are based on which Death albums you resonate with.
yeah,
I
Right.
really like Sound of Perseverance. That was probably mine, and that
I love it.
definitely appeals to my
I keep
thrash
changing 'cause
sensibilities.
I used to say Sound of Perseverance, and then I would say Symbolic. I still love Symbolic.
Yeah.
Individual Thought Patterns is like the GOAT that everyone loves. A lot of
yeah.
people would say like, "Oh, Individual Thought Patterns." I'm like, yeah, I mean that's dope. But me, it always went back to Human or Spiritual Healing. Like it's
Yeah.
one
Yeah.
of those two that I can't decide which one I like better. So they're both like at the top for me for real. That's
Dude.
for sure.
One of the first Death songs I learned guitar was, and like I was a teenager and I sucked at guitar, but I was playing Story to Tell because it's pretty easy compared to
yeah.
the rest of it. That song is so good, man. Lyrically, actually, all of Death lyrics are great. Chuck's always had some kind of great perspective on life and death and everything. It's
Yeah, literally, like the guy was just a visionary. I knew a lot of Death songs. I think the first one I've learned, because I used to cover songs on YouTube. They all got taken down because YouTube's like, oh, that
YouTube
copyright
sucks.
Yeah.
right.
Spirit Crusher was the first one I learned.
Yeah.
Lack of Comprehension.
Oh,
There's
so
also Voice of the Soul, Spiritual Healing as well, and Crystal
I remember
Mountain.
which one I
Perennial
covered.
Quest is Perennial Quest was challenging.
Yeah.
It's not really Chuck's solos that are hard. It's the other. I forgot the name of the guitarist, but I knew a whole lot of Death. Trapped in a Corner was another. I think I.
Oh my
knew
god, so good.
a majority of the ones that I knew came from Individual Thought Patterns, Sound of Perseverance, Human. But I used to play a lot of
Yeah.
songs by Death. It was that's how I just kept trying to push myself to learn a lot more.
Yeah.
One of my first warm-ups with my first band, Dark Entropy. We would play the part from Crystal Mountain.
I love
That whole
awesome.
part is just awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, no, definitely. Or what's it called? Thousand Eyes is another one I knew as well.
Yeah.
So good, yeah.
I've like I can go on forever with all the songs I played.
Yeah, with Death.
We'll just have to cover like Flattening of Emotions or something.
I'd be down. I love that song so much.
So good.
It's
That
Hey,
and,
you know
Suicide Machine, man. Suicide Machine was like my all-time favorite.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Nice. You know what, Brian? We haven't done a Shreddy Bois cover in some time, you know?
Yeah, it's been a while.
Wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
Right.
Yeah, definitely.
Test. Ooh.
Oh, okay, okay. That was last year. Leave that behind.
It's hot. You should turn the wet all the way up.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh.
Test.
Okay, I don't know where this is going.
Hold on. My name is Optimus Prime.
Sounds just like it.
Where? Oh, god damn it! I wasn't.
Where is Padme? Is she safe? Is she alright?
Go. It wasn't too powerful.
No! I sensed her energy! She was alive, I felt it! No!
That's enough of that.
What are you doing that through?
My little soundboard here.
Awesome.
Yeah. Every now and again, I'll be like,
Heresy!
you're playing some Space Marine 2.
Yeah.
Brother!
Oh, right. Back
Okay.
to business. We were talking about the old school, you know, MySpace days.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The
That
old
was so
RAR
fucking funny.
XD days.
I mean, maybe with you guys, but I don't. I mean, I keep bringing it up, but it's so funny how, there was an episode of Shreddy Bois where Mike was talking to me about all these emo bands, and I'm just looking at him smiling and nodding, and I'm like, I have no idea what you're talking about because I've grown
Skipped
up.
right over
I skipped
that.
right over. My mom had a fear of me becoming emo, so you know, it was
Shit.
coming around, you know, Hispanic moms, and you know, I was like, okay.
Brian.
I was like, okay, but I mean, obviously we didn't know, and I was like, okay, I skipped over it, but now, you know, when everyone's talking about, you know, a lot, I mean, I was familiar with a few, you know, My Chemical Romance, obviously, who wouldn't know that, but
Yeah.
when it came to him talking about Hawthorne Heights or the Yeah Yeahs, I'm like, I don't know anything that you're talking about.
I think
I was like,
I was literally talking about like a riot fest that happened a couple
yeah,
of
Oh,
years
shit.
ago.
I'm just like, I was like, awesome. I'm glad you had fun because I have no clue who these bands are at all.
Yeah. You're like, yeah.
Yeah,
I
you're
don't
like,
know
oh,
what
yeah.
you're talking about.
I don't know what you're talking about, but okay,
Yeah.
go off, King.
What other emo bands?
Oh, that was so like that year. My Chemical Romance was headlining Riot Fest, and me personally, I was never a fan, you know. But my wife is into a lot of like emo and like goth music, and I've definitely been exposed to more of it since marrying her. You know.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, I've definitely listened to like bands like Foxing. That's more like indie, I guess. But like
Another band I don't know.
Foxing's pretty dude. Great guitar players, man. The band's sick.
Yeah, like
I don't
this. Oh, sorry. I was gonna say
go ahead.
a couple days ago, not a couple days ago, maybe a week. Chiodos just announced a tour with Hawthorne Heights, and I'm like, yeah, they're playing my favorite album.
See,
Big
I know
throwback.
Chiodos, but I'm not familiar with any of their music either.
Oh, it's gonna be a bunch of adults basically who are like, oh, I hope this show doesn't go on too long. I got work in the morning.
My fucking back hurts.
Yeah. Dude, yeah. Even my wife, she bought seat tickets in the balcony. I'm like, oh, that would be good because we'll have seats.
Yeah.
Oh, like, God, how far have I fallen from,
Fuck.
I'm not looking forward to
fucking
that.
moshing. So, like, when I went to Riot Fest this year, I forgot, I think it was Lamb of God was on the main stage, and they were coming, they were there with, Mastodon because they were doing their tour where they were playing Ashes of the Wake and Leviathan, and they just got added to Riot Fest, and they were playing mostly Ashes of the Wake songs, and I was like, oh my God, this is great.
Yeah.
And I forgot what song, I think they were playing Hourglass or something, and me and my brother who were in the audience came out of mosh retirement, and we're just,
Sick.
we were just fucking shit up, and then literally just immediately regretting it, just being like,
Right. Yeah. Take a good elbow and it's over.
Watch my brother fall onto the ground and being like, oh, shit.
It's so awesome.
I can still hold my ground, but everything still hurts because I saw Black Dahlia like 3 days ago now. As of recording this, but yeah, I'm still feeling everything, But anyways, we should continue where we left off. I actually wanted to ask you this, Elijah. So, how would you describe Dismalimerence as like genre? Like, I mean, I guess I have a good idea of it, but I would rather hear, from you, as to like.
You definitely already said Blackwater Park, and I'm like, yes.
Yeah, I think it's really interesting because after a while, it's like your fans and supporters are the ones that are like getting you into these categories sometimes. Like if somebody asks me what we play, it's like progressive atmospheric black metal, because I think a lot of, like, when you look at the subgenres and like, these are like, how many subgenres are you diving into kind of thing. At the end of the day, it's black metal, but you can't really put us in the same categories like Belphegor or Behemoth or any Dark Funeral and stuff like that. So it's kind of just, the thing that I'm trying to do with it is kind of carve out my own little hole. Like, I like atmospheric black metal because of the, pacing of the songs. I like ambience and tremolo pick guitars, but I've also been listening to so much prog metal and stuff over the years. And, I still incorporate other heavy chugging stuff into the albums too. I still love old deathcore stuff and old, like, metalcore things. So breakdowns have always just come like as a natural thing for me to write. It's never like written to just be out there. Just kind of like, if it services and works in a song, then it happens. But I think that also kind of separates us in some weirder ways maybe people don't like either, but I guess that would just be progressive in a sense. Or something.
Yeah 100%, because it's like we've asked this question before, obviously, to bands on this show, and they'll always be like, oh, I don't know, rock and roll, and be like, that's cute, yeah, all right.
Yeah,
but it's like, okay, yeah, I don't think the little old lady would would say, oh, you guys are rock and roll,
hell yeah.
It's very obvious, and everybody tries to stand out and sound different, but like, I forgot which band. I think it was my buddy's band, but he had a band. Are you familiar with the Opatia at all?
No, it sounds cool though.
Yeah, it was my buddy's band. He had it going for like, I don't know, like 3 years. He wrote an incredible album, and the quality is awesome. But when he came out with it, I'm like, holy crap, you guys sound almost exactly like Kalma. I don't know if you're familiar with Kalma.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Awesome. I love him a lot. And because of that, I'm like, dude, you guys are awesome. You sound exactly like Kalma. And he's like, what's Kalma? And I'm like, you guys have never heard Kalma? And they sound like a carbon copy. And sure enough, he listens to it and like, he's like, oh, God damn it. Yeah.
I've been through that so many times with different people in bands. My buddy Zach, we were doing Mouth of Sauron together,
Okay.
And I'd be sitting there and I'm like, dude, people are comparing us to like Disgorge and like other obscure like slam bands.
Yeah.
And he goes, I don't know who the fuck those bands are, dude. And I was like, are you serious? Like, because believe it or not, that's what we're doing, man.
Yeah.
But
That's
yeah,
I mean that's kind of good, you know, versus the opposite, I guess, when you're like, all I listen to is whatever Slayer, and you're like, and I'm gonna write Slayer, you know.
right.
Um, yeah, I mean, I guess like not, I won't say accidentally emulating that because you're not, but
Yeah,
you know, everybody definitely has a different style, and you know, everybody brings their own influences into it. But
yeah. I
yeah,
like
and
sometimes being able to hear a band and be like, oh, hey, there's like something that I can kind of recognize. Maybe that's an influence. Maybe it sounds like this for a reason, like when bands pay homage to, I don't know, like when a band pays homage to like an old Faceless riff, I know a Faceless
oh
seventh
yeah,
chord anytime. And I'm
Yeah.
thinking to myself, I'm like, oh, fucking sick.
yeah,
He kind of got me into it now and stuff like that. So you can kind of pick and hear things. I think it's good though if metal bands get their like compositional or like influences from stuff that's not in the same realm of metal or outside of metal in general.
yeah.
Sometimes that's like it changes your sound,
You,
like
you
people
stand
who,
out a lot more, you know?
yeah,
Yeah, and with like, you know, with specific genres, it's like, all right, I'm listening to some thrash metal. You know exactly what you're getting. You know, it's very formulaic, and it's like, yeah, okay, you know, it gets you going and whatnot. Every genre has
It's cliches.
its cliches, you know, but
yeah.
with you know, with I guess you know what you guys sound like and what genre you are. I very much am like, all right, there's going to be brutal parts, but then there's going to be pause and there's going to be melodies and very nice, beautiful cleans. And I'm never like, hell yeah, you know, let's fucking work out. No, it's like let's go on the journey. This
Oh
is
yeah.
how I approach it. I'm
I
like,
will say that
take me on
take
the
me on
journey.
the clean parts, caught me by surprise, and I was just like, "Oh, I like this a lot." You know, like
Yeah.
those were like, I feel like those stand out a whole lot, like and in a really good way. I'm just like, "Holy shit!" Especially with what's it called? The first single you guys put out, I can't remember. I'm like, "God damn it!"
Oh, and
I'm
Relics.
Relics of Woe. There you go. I was
Yeah.
like, I had a brain fart, but yeah, listening to Relics of Woe, like getting to the clean part, I was like, "Holy shit!" I was not
Yeah.
like immediately like you guys were just going, keeping a steady pace, and all of a sudden it's like, oh damn, like that's I always like that when it comes to music. Like whenever you just have that one part that just randomly catches you off guard, I'm like,
Fuck
that's
yeah.
like, yeah, it's always the element of surprise. I mean, honestly, like in some ways, especially with that song, with the piano and everything, it almost reminded me of you've heard of Tomorome,
What was it?
the band Tomorome or Tomorrow or like how
Oh,
it's
Tomorrow, or
Tomorrow,
yeah,
yeah.
I think that's how you pronounce it. Yeah.
Yeah, they like, so some of the stuff they also use like piano here and there, but I'm like, it almost like it didn't sound identical, but like in some ways it reminded me of them because I've also been listening to them a lot. Mike and I saw them last year with Inferi. They were fucking dope,
Oh
but
yeah, that's
yeah,
That's
right.
awesome.
yeah, they're
Yeah,
I was like,
I go back with those dudes for quite some time too. Kyle Walburn's band with Brandon, they're incredible dudes. We were supposed to play a show together at Reggie's right before the pandemic hit in March.
oh shit,
And it was so stupid. I was like, "Oh man," because they were gonna crash on my living room,
Mm.
and we'll play, we'll eat pizza, we'll
Hang
party.
out,
Yeah,
play
it
some
was
Mario
gonna.
Kart.
I literally, yeah, I have the GameCube and everything. I was offering, dude.
Yes.
yeah,
Yeah, I was offering, but yeah, we did end up finally getting to hang out and play together last year at Cobra Lounge. So it was cool.
Nice.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
yeah. Those
awesome,
guys are
man.
incredible. I remember like because Max Damsky from Warforge, he mentioned them to us. And I'm just like, oh, I gotta check these guys out. And I was like, oh shit, I didn't know that was them the whole time. But
Yeah.
yeah, I was just blown away. I was like, holy shit.
I
Like,
love that they take more of the approach of playing like technical death metal stuff into the atmospheric black metal realm. It just makes it kind of like the way that I look at like Fallujah being very
Yeah,
atmospheric and
exactly.
relentless. It kind of has that same, maybe not production, but same like vibe. They're
Yeah,
fucking
no,
kick ass.
definitely. I love that. I've always loved like atmospheric tech death, or it just there's just something about it that just sounds so fucking amazing, especially with Fallujah that you mentioned. I think I've mentioned this before, but I did have like a convo with Scott from Fallujah like 2 years ago. It was cool as hell, but it was so awkward because I told him like, "Oh, dude, I really dig the Kiesel you got. I think he has the C7." And
Oh
then he's
yeah,
like, "Oh, you play guitar?" And then I'm like, "Yeah, I also have a Kiesel." Oh, what are the specs on it? And that's when I had a brain fart, and
You're
I'm
like,
like,
oh,
I was like, "Yeah, it's got a blue crackle finish, multi scale, And it's
uh,
like, I was like, but I was like, oh shit,
it's
I was like,
blue.
it's blue. I was like, holy shit, he's asking me a question,
blanking on it. Yeah,
right? I'm like, oh
Yeah.
fuck.
it's
But
awesome.
yeah, it was like it was pretty cool. He was like, "Oh, a fellow Kiesel shredder." I'm like, "Oh, no, thank you," because I think he asked how long was I playing. I'm like, at the time I was like, what, 13 years, and I was just like, I was like, I didn't say I shred, but thank you. It's like,
Yeah,
but yeah, no, it was pretty awesome. I think it was him and Kyle that I was talking to, but yeah,
Nice.
no, definitely. But yeah, no, going back to Tome 2, yeah, like I do see a lot of like I said, that really reminded me of like Tomorrow, and I'm like, holy shit, like these guys almost sound, I mean, not identical, but they sound, there's a lot of similarities here and there,
hell
and I'm
yeah,
like, I fuck with it a lot, dude. I was like, holy shit, this
yeah.
is
I know
dope. And
that Isla and I listen to the same exact music, so it's like I and it's awesome. I've been watching them grow for a long time. Like I think it was 2018 or 19 when they put out their first release, and it was like condemned to a life of grief, I think.
I think
And
so.
back then, a different buddy of ours was playing bass with them, but he was all fretless. And if you ever go back, because on that full album they have that single on there still. If you go back and listen to the first one, it's got some crazy bass stuff on there that's just mind blowing, dude. But those dudes have been kicking ass, man, and I'm pretty sure they got another record coming out pretty soon too.
Oh hell yeah.
Maybe next year
Nice.
or something.
Yeah, no, those guys are pretty fucking sick. Um,
I do have a question here, Elijah.
Bring it on.
As it seems like
bring it on.
the main, it seems like I'd say you're the leader of the band. Is that fair to say?
uh, yeah,
Kinda. Yeah. Okay. All right.
yeah, I would
Well,
say so.
with with the album having come out and the reception that you're getting, and you've released a couple of guitar playthroughs here, what I won't say what is going to happen in the future, but what do you have planned for the continuation of this album cycle here? Can we expect some music videos? Can we expect, like, I don't know, what other things you might have up your sleeve? I know you guys came out recently with was it a vinyl for this?
Oh no. Well, I've been working with a couple people to see what our options would be for that physical.
Okay.
Um, it's really tough right now with how bad vinyl market is and just
Yeah.
how expensive. It's crazy expensive, and the options that I have, I just feel like if someone's going to pay the price for a vinyl, they should get the best quality. So
Yeah.
until I get to the that point where I'm like, perfect, this is going to be good for it, then I'm going to kind of put it off. But for now, we definitely have CDs,
Hmm.
and those are all made by me too. So you can grab a jewel case on our Bandcamp if you want a CD. Otherwise, I would assume maybe within the next couple months, I'll continue some conversations to see what kind of vinyl options we can get. But for now, just rocking the CDs. And I think part of what changed this release compared to other ones was that a lot of people who listen to this band want vinyl, and that's like their primary like vessel of listening. And it's interesting because when I first initially announced the record, I felt like there was like this overwhelming push to put it on a record, and I was just thinking to myself, like, at the same time, all I really want right now is people just to hear it, just listen to it. and it would be a huge investment for us to go ahead and put that process through to get a vinyl pressed. So I was kind of on the side of, it took us a long time to get this album out. And it took me a long time with all the moving pieces. I was like, the most important thing to me is just people being able to stream it, listen to it, and absorb it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm sure maybe within the next couple months something will line up, but we'll see about the vinyl. But for the future, we are trying out auditioning, however you want to word it, drummers starting in December. So
Yeah, I remember you mentioned that to me as well.
yeah, and that's just been it's a process in itself. You want to hang out, you want to chat, you want to get to know people. I don't think anybody, hopefully nobody thinks they're going to join something and have their expectations blown over the roof. Like we just really want to make the music we make and have fun with friends.
Yeah, definitely.
So, I've had a couple people who hit me back up and be like, "Oh, well, if you're not touring, then I don't really see a point." And I was like, "That's totally cool, bro. I do not mind." Like we want to do things like that. We want to do weekend pushes and do small things like that where maybe we could play off in this state at a festival sometime. Like stuff like that's a little more intriguing to me. But
Oh yeah, that's a good start. Weekend gigs?
Weekenders. What was it?
Yeah.
We call them weekenders, but yeah.
Weekenders.
hell yeah, I want to do a 5 to 6 day thing. That's the first thing I really want to do is just hit the road for maybe 5 or 6, hit some places I haven't hit in a long time. But at the same time, this is a different band than I was in when I was doing other touring stuff. So we kind of have to take it step by step once we get a new drummer involved and, take it as it comes. But,
Yeah, most definitely.
Some other things we want to do is put out some more playthroughs. I definitely have a lot of guitar parts on the album that I just love to play. And since we're not playing live, better believe I'm going to play them on a video. So, yeah, just gonna have fun with doing stuff like that. But in the process too, we have this new album that has been pushed through pretty quick. Alex and I write very fast together, where
Sick.
yeah, it's fantastic. Like when we did the split for Resplendence, that was churned out within only a couple months. So the way that we both just see eye to eye and what we're doing, and yeah, it just makes it quick. So
It's very rare.
it's extremely rare. And I've been through Tome 1 took me just by myself a very long time before I was able to get everybody else involved and then track and then put it out. So like, something just as simple as playing guitar and having fun can take a long time. But the best thing about it is just we all have an energy right now that feels good. We just put out another thing that's been pretty successful and we're having a good time enjoying that. So I want to keep that energy up and get started on something new, and I think what's also been really beneficial is that each release has been more of everybody's involvement. So it's just keeps blending and keeps changing. So I'm pretty excited for that stuff. But yeah, the new album's heavy.
No, I was going to say, may I also make a recommendation? You guys might not be playing shows, but, every once in a while, like, certain places will do like metal fairs or metal markets, that would be a good way to, set up a little table, have all of your actual physical merch that you have in hand,
Yeah,
that might be a way to push your music as well.
that would be awesome. And I think that we've only done maybe 1 or 2 of those.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, it's great. You get to hang out and chat with everybody, have some beers. It just feels like a good social event. Yeah,
making friends with people next to you, and yeah, exactly. Just throwing some beers back.
Yeah, we had a.
Oh my God! I was like, you're talking about the metal market at Reggie's, or
that's one of them. Yeah, there's the metal market, and then there's the other one. Well, that one's the metal fair, I believe.
Oh,
the metal market was at the what's the venue right across from Kuma's? It's really
the
close.
Empty Bottle.
No, it's really close to Kuma's. It's not the Empty Bottle.
Bottom Lounge.
Okay. Maybe.
Beat Kitchen.
Beat Kitchen. That's
Belmont.
It's the Beat Kitchen. Yeah. So they always have a Chicago metal market as well, where I remember after my album came out, Declaration of War, this was right after the pandemic, so shows were not coming as much as we would have wanted. We played here and there, but I'm like, all right, well, when we recorded during the pandemic, I'm like, we have to pretend like we're never going to be able to play another show again. So we had like 5 music videos. We did a bunch of those streaming shows, which ended up being awesome for us. And then, I kept going to every single metal market and pushing us. I'm like, every time we go, I'm like, I'm going to do a new product. And my goal is going to be to sell the shit out of that product.
Hell yeah.
It's like, here's a new t-shirt. Vicious Attack did coffee. We had a coffee run for a while,
It's awesome.
Yeah. And it's really, like that year, those 2 years, I'll say, really helped me as a salesman, because that's definitely another part of this whole job,
Yeah.
You got to sell yourself.
Pretty much. You got to market yourself, sell everything, just be on there. I mean, I know, like Beheading has a lot of stuff going on with that as well. We're always trying to, see like what we can do to like, especially in terms of merch, just to, catch people's eyes and everything.
Yeah.
But yeah, most def, that's always important, always just try marketing yourself as best you can, get your music out there.
It's kind of like unfair to really think like, okay, you can go ahead and make an album.
Yeah.
You can go ahead and put it out. You can go ahead and do everything that has to do with being in a band. But now you have to do every piece of that. You need to know how to do graphic design, like you mentioned before. You need to know how to do a little bit of everything if you want to see results. And
dude, it's scary.
It's a lot, but I think that's also part of what separates different people and makes them gravitate to different bands is like, oh, you can check out this band and listen to them all the time, but is it being ran by them? Are you actually communicating with said band? Obviously that might come with a different level of notoriety, whatever. So, but that's part of what I really like about underground music is that if I go and purchase something off Bandcamp, or if I go and start following and supporting an artist, I know it's more direct. It's more right in front of my face. And that's stuff that's invaluable, I think.
Yeah, definitely. I know.
Yeah, 100%. It is. It's kind of the stressful thing about like all of it in general is like, the days of just being good at your instrument are no longer, a thing. You have to be
you gotta
a graphic
put in the
designer.
work.
You have to be a social media director. You have to know a merch guy and become a salesman. It's all part of it. Like, I think it was the Chicago Metal Fair. I wasn't just selling stuff too. They would play videos on the little projector, and I'm like, okay, good. I have 6 of those, which means the local band that has one that's hastily put together in in a forest or a garage or something, like mine are going to be better than that, and mine are going to be playing in increments, so people will see us, and I remember thinking about that. I'm like, oh, that's kind of gross. I'm like I'm like, no, yeah, but unfortunately it's kind of what you have to do, like even with this podcast, like I remember looking at so many other podcasts that are in the Chicagoland area. I won't say which ones, but just them being so bad, or being very just like surface level, like, okay.
Yeah.
And then just being like,
expose them. No, I'm joking.
Being like, well, I can do that, and I can do it better. I have microphones, and I have 4K cameras, and we do a fucking song at the beginning of every episode. Like, Jesus Christ, like we're definitely putting in the work, but marketing it is a whole other thing.
It's a beast in itself.
It is a beast.
But yeah,
in
I
itself.
mean, that's part of, I think, what makes you guys so much better and so much cooler than other pods is that you guys are putting in the work, and it's a creative vessel more than it is just getting on and talking shit for no reason. Like, you can get on a podcast and
Well,
all
we
of a
do
sudden you
that
got like, well, you guys have a drive though for each
Yeah.
episode. You guys have
wait
like,
till you see the episode you're on.
Oh, definitely. This one we had a massive drive for that one.
But yeah, we no,
I love it.
that's what I wanted. I'm like, you know what? This is like the ultimate culmination of all of the ideas that I've ever had. I'm like, we're gonna write an original goddamn song, and basically every month we've been doing this every month.
Yeah.
And I'm not gonna lie, it gets really tough doing it at times. You know, I told Mike, take the lead on for October and November. You know, since it's been getting busy, so I was like, yeah, just take the lead on this. I was like, I'll do the Christmas one, and I gotta get going on that one.
Yeah,
It's coming, dude.
oh,
Time just goes fast.
yeah.
It does. It really does, man. I'm like, holy shit, you know? Especially when you're playing like shows almost like back to back. It's like, oh man.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's like, shit. I'm like, we're already at the end of the month here. I was like, God damn.
I know. Before you know it, it'll be Christmas.
Yeah, no, this year flew. I still remember
this is my money.
January.
This is my money. It's
Yeah.
flying away.
Disappearing.
Yeah.
No, this was
Yeah.
like, I think it's part of just getting older is saying like every year was the fastest year, but like this one really took me by surprise. I think by like June, July, I just started feeling like time was zipping by, and I'm like, whoa, I haven't had even a chance to think. Like, what is?
No, literally, yeah, no, same here. I'm like,
Yeah.
hold it. We're in November. What? Yeah, no,
Yep.
definitely.
Well, yeah. Thank you about saying those nice things about our podcast.
Dude, yeah, absolutely, man.
Yeah, no,
Absolutely. It's fun to come on here and actually laugh and have fun. You know, I think everyone's probably had some kind of podcast or interview experience that can be like, oh, well, I got asked like 2 questions that make sense out of
Yeah.
10 or something like that. So, no, it's awesome to come on and just like hang out. And
yeah,
I think that's also what's great about a podcast is,
yeah, no, definitely. You
it's
know.
like a chill session a lot too. You know. And
Yeah.
I think that's one thing that another thing that a lot of these guys lack is basic humor and comedic instincts. You
True.
know, and me and Brian definitely have like a really good back and forth. I think.
I mean, I'm
Yeah.
surprised that I can like crack jokes here and there, and I'm like, I can do that. But then because most of the time I'm like, man, I'm pretty sure most of the stuff I say is like 99% cringe, 100 like or 1% of like just brain rot or something.
Brain rot. Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, I feel you so hard. I mean, there's times like okay, it's 8 p.m. like or whatever time it is now. Like we spent all day using our brains, and now we're gonna get to the point where there's just sputtering happening in my brain. I'm like,
Pretty much.
yeah.
Oh man, yeah, definitely.
I live on the cringe side though. I like being cringe. It's okay.
Same
Embrace the
here.
cringe.
I embrace the cringe and I embrace
Yeah.
the brain rot a lot.
Me and Brian have recently got into Magic the Gathering. We're embracing the cringe.
Take it all in.
Taste
I haven't
it.
played in forever.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, we primarily play Commander. I mean, we don't just take it all in; we take it all out on each other.
It's awesome.
Oh man,
All
no,
right.
but yeah,
Well, you know, we are unfortunately running out of time here. We have hit, wow, holy shit, we have gone an hour and a half. Holy
holy goddamn.
holy Jesus.
Nice.
So, as we wrap it up here, obviously, plug the album,
Oh, thank you.
plug all your stuff. You know, just go for it.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it, and I'm glad that it's turned out to be what it is right now. I'm hoping just to keep topping it every time.
Yeah, man. Where can they find you? Tell them.
Everywhere. But you should definitely check us out on Spotify and Bandcamp to start, because Spotify has been cool with these playlists and algorithms, and we're catching some cool waves on there. So if you want to add us to some playlists, if you like Cradle of Filth and Dimmy Borgir and shit like that, put us on there, man, or something like that. But No, definitely check us out on Bandcamp. Get that high FLAC audio. Don't mess around with it.
Good man.
Enjoy the album how it's meant to be heard. You know,
Download the actual file, you plebes.
straight up, straight up.
Hey,
But yeah,
hey, tell
check us out.
This might not be on vinyl, but your Tome 1 is on vinyl. You guys still
Tome
have Tome
1.
1.
Tome 1 is absolutely on vinyl. We have it's on a clear opaque vinyl with blue and green splatter, and we're actually partnering up soon, I believe, with Blast Beat Vinyl. So if you wanted to grab a copy from them soon, it'll be on there. Otherwise, come over to our Bandcamp. It's a sacred space where you can absolutely buy vinyl there too.
Very
Definitely,
nice.
Yeah, man. Either way, keep me posted as well. Whenever you guys get a drummer, I would love to, play a show with Dismalimerence and Beheading.
Dude, it'd be so badass. I would love to.
Definitely.
We were talking about if I guess it's not an if, it's a matter of when we get somebody up to date, ready to play a set list full through. We handled that Sadness show back in May, just all by ourselves, booking that and getting that together. I kind of want to do something like that again, where it's more of like a return show, and maybe we can do.
Right, I remember. I was gonna go there, but then Beheading got booked in Portage, so I was like,
Oh, yeah.
shit, yeah. That's
Yeah.
also the day where I had to throw my ice cream away because we ended up getting moved up. Yeah, we got switched with a band. I was enjoying my ice cream. My baby's like, "Hey, we're on." I'm like, "You're bullshitting," and then I look in the window. I'm like, "Fuck!" So I had to put it on. I had to like just discard it, and I'm like,
Sad, Brian.
"Well, I'm not happy."
What
It's
kind
okay,
of ice
though.
cream was it?
It was 3-scoop chocolate.
3? Oh,
Yeah, so I was trying to enjoy that. It's okay though because I went back. I think it was October, and I gotta finish it this time. So I'm good now.
yeah.
But yeah, no, that was the original plan. Because we were supposed to be off, but then I'm like, oh, we got booked for that. Okay, but yeah, no, I mean, definitely if if you guys want to set something up, just hit us up. We'd probably be down for it more than likely. We always just we're always on the lookout to play like not just in Illinois but out of state. But yeah, definitely. I keep telling the guys like we got to play with these guys. Like I always like try like showing them like music. They have listened to it and like they also think it's sick as well. But I'm like, once
Hell
these
yeah.
guys are ready, we got to play a show with them. Definitely.
Yeah, dude, I do that all the time in our band group chat. I'm like, idiots, listen to this. And I'm just like, I'm vulgar about it. I'm like, you guys are stupid. Check this out.
You guys
And
are stupid. Check this out.
yeah,
Listen to this with your stupid ears.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's how we all vibe with each other. It's like, hey, cucks, get over here. Listen to this.
straight up. We're just like all big brothering each other like 24/7. So it's great. It's all good friends. But no, I would love to do that, man. That'd be fun as hell.
Oh yeah, dude. All right, man. Well, yeah, dude. Thank you so much for your time, dude. It's always a great time having you on, man. Definitely.
Dude, thank
All
you
right.
guys for having me. I had a great time and I laughed my ass off. So it's a victory.
It's always a
Can't
good.
wait for you to watch the episode, man.
All right.
You're not making it sound that exciting though.
It's a doozy. I'll tell you that.
it's a doozy.
Definitely.
Oh
man.
god.
Alrighty. We'll see you, buddy.
All right, take care, guys. Thank you.
Take care, man.
Bye.